Let's start with a truth that might feel unsettling, but it's the essential first step to fixing your sleep after 60. Your body is fundamentally designed to sleep differently, and fighting that biology is why you're so frustrated. It's not just you being a light sleeper. The architecture of your sleep has undergone a quiet renovation. Deep, restorative, slow-wave sleep, which is like the prime contractor for physical repair. Memory consolidation begins to decline, sometimes significantly as early as our mid-30s. By 60, you may be getting only a fraction of the deep sleep you enjoyed at 25. This isn't a failure, it's a physiological shift. Your sleep becomes more fragmented, meaning you wake up more often during the night, even if you don't always remember it. These micro-awakenings can be due to a lighter sleep stage, a need to use the bathroom, or pain. So the first pillar of sleeping better is to abandon the futile war against this new reality and instead learn to optimize within it. The goal shifts from 8 uninterrupted hours like I used to get to maximizing the quality of the sleep I can get. This means protecting the precious deep sleep windows you still have and extending the periods of consolidated rest. It starts with your circadian rhythm, your body's internal 24-hour clock, which often shifts earlier as we age. You might find yourself getting sleepy at 8 p.m. and waking, annoyingly, at 4 a.m. This phase advance is common. Instead of fighting it by lying in bed angry at 4:30 a.m., we can work with it. The master controller of this rhythm is light exposure. Getting bright, natural light, preferably sunlight, within the first hour of waking is non-negotiable. It's a signal to your suprachiasmatic nucleus, the tiny clock in your brain that the day has begun. Effectively setting a timer for melatonin release roughly 14 to 16 hours later. If you wake at 5 a.m., that light exposure helps ensure melatonin starts rising around 7 to 9 p.m., aligning with your natural earlier bedtime. Conversely, and this is critical, we must defend against light pollution at night. The blue wavelength light from TVs, tablets, and smartphones is particularly effective at suppressing melatonin, tricking your brain into thinking it's still daytime. So the first actionable strategy is this. Embrace the morning light for at least 20 to 30 minutes, even on cloudy days, and institute a digital sunset at least 90 minutes before bed. This doesn't mean you must sit in darkness. Opt for warm, dim lamps and consider blue light blocking glasses if evening screen use is unavoidable. This respectful management of your circadian rhythm is the bedrock upon which all other sleep improvements are built. It's about becoming a conductor of your own internal orchestra using light, your primary baton to cue the hormones and brain waves that orchestrate sleep. Now, while light sets the stage, what you do during the day profoundly influences the performance of sleep at night, which leads us to our second, equally powerful pillar, daytime activity, and its intricate relationship with nighttime rest. Before we move to the next crucial step, I want you to do one thing today. Tomorrow morning, within 30 minutes of waking up, go outside. Don't wear sunglasses. Just have your morning tea or coffee on the porch, balcony, or by a window with direct sunlight. Do that for 2 days and come back to this video. Tell me in the comments if you noticed even a slight shift in your evening drowsiness. That small experiment is your first step to taking control. If light exposure sets the schedule for your sleep, then physical activity is the quality. Control engineer, ensuring the sleep you get is deep, efficient, and restorative. There's a pervasive myth that older adults should take it easy, but when it comes to sleep, nothing could be further from the truth. Sedentary behavior is one of the fastest routes to shallow, unsatisfying sleep. The science is clear: regular, moderate exercise increases the amount of time spent in deep sleep, the most physically restorative phase. It helps regulate your body's stress hormones like cortisol, which should be low at night, and it raises your core body temperature temporarily. This is key. The subsequent drop in body temperature a few hours after exercise is a potent sleep-promoting signal. However, the type, timing, and intensity of this activity are where the nuance lies for those over 60. We're not talking about training for a marathon unless that's your passion. We're talking about consistent, mindful movement, aerobic exercise, brisk walking, cycling, swimming for at least 150 minutes per week, as recommended by health authorities, has been shown to significantly improve sleep quality. But let's add a critical layer: strength training. The loss of muscle mass, sarcopenia, is a hallmark of aging, and it's directly linked to sleep problems. Weaker muscles lead to less physical fatigue, more joint pain, and a slower metabolism, all sleep disruptors. Incorporating resistance training twice a week using body weight bands or light weights builds metabolic fatigue that demands deeper recovery. That is deeper sleep. Now, the timing. While any exercise is better than none, finishing vigorous exercise at least 3 hours before bedtime is wise for most, as it gives your core temperature and adrenaline levels time to settle. However, gentle movement like stretching, yoga, or Tai Chi in the evening can be profoundly beneficial. These practices combine mild physical activity with breathwork and mindfulness, directly addressing the third enemy of sleep, a racing mind. This brings us to often overlooked powerhouse of sleep hygiene, the wind-down routine. You wouldn't sprint at full speed and then suddenly try to stop and sit perfectly still yet. That's what we do with our brains. We watch stimulating news, engage in stressful conversations, or scroll through social media, and then wonder why we can't quiet our thoughts. Creating a 60-minute buffer zone before bed is essential. This is a time for dim lights and calming activities. It could be reading a physical book, not a thriller, listening to soothing music or a calming podcast, gentle stretching, or practicing a simple relaxation technique like progressive muscle relaxation, where you systematically tense and then relax each muscle group from toes to head. This practice not only relieves physical tension, but teaches your body the distinct feeling of letting go, a skill that becomes invaluable when you're lying in bed awake. Think of this wind-down routine as a descent. You're guiding your nervous system from the heightened state of fight or flight, sympathetic, down into the restful state of rest and digest, parasympathetic. It's a deliberate, gentle transition that tells your brain and body, in no uncertain terms, that it is now safe to shut down and repair, combining deliberate daytime movement with a sacred, screen-free wind-down. Ritual addresses both the physical and psychological engines of sleep. But even with perfect light and activity, external factors can sabotage your efforts, which is why we must now turn to the environment. You sleep in your bedroom and transform it from a simple room into a sleep sanctuary engineered for one purpose only. This week, I challenge you to audit your bedroom tonight before you go to sleep. Stand in the doorway and really look at it. Is it cluttered? Is there an LED light from a charger blinking? Is it too warm? make one change. Maybe it's installing blackout curtains, taking out the laundry basket, or setting your thermostat to 65 to 68 F minus 20 degrees Celsius. Then share your one change in the comments below. Let's build a library of ideas to help each other create the perfect sleep cave. Your bedroom should be a sanctuary, a cave engineered for optimal sleep. This isn't about interior design aesthetics. It's about environmental neurobiology. The three non-negotiable pillars of the sleep cave are darkness, coolness, and quiet. Let's start with darkness. Even small amounts of ambient light from a street lamp, a hallway, or an electronic device can interfere with melatonin production and fragment your sleep. Pitch black is the ideal. This means investing in blackout curtains or high-quality sleep mask. Check your room for any tiny LED lights on a TV, smoke detector, or charger, and cover them with black electrical tape. The darkness should be so complete you cannot see your hand in front of your face. Next, temperature. Your core body temperature needs to drop by about 1 to 2 degrees Fahrenheit to initiate and maintain sleep. A room that's too warm prevents this drop. The science-backed sweet spot is surprisingly cool, between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 to 20 Greci. A cool room coupled with warm bedding facilitates that crucial temperature decline. Consider a fan not just for air circulation and sound, but for cooling, now sound. Complete silence can be unsettling for some, and random noise spikes, a car alarm, a snoring partner, are disruptive. The solution is consistent, soothing sound, white noise, or pink noise. A simple fan, a dedicated white noise machine, or even a phone app placed away from the bed can mask disruptive sounds with a constant, gentle auditory blanket. Studies suggest pink noise, which is deeper and more even than white. Noise may even help stabilize brain waves and promote deeper sleep. But the environment extends beyond these three. Your bed itself is critical. An old, saggy mattress or a pillow that doesn't support your neck and spine can cause micro-awakenings due to pain and poor alignment. You don't necessarily need the most expensive mattress, but one that provides proper support for your body type and preferred sleep position is a worthwhile investment. The final, and perhaps most psychological, element of the sleep sanctuary is its association. Your brain should have one dominant, unquestioned link with your bed, sleep, and intimacy. If you lie in bed watching TV, working on your laptop, worrying, or even just staring at the ceiling frustrated, you weaken that association. This is why the rule of 20 minutes is so powerful. If you find yourself unable to sleep after about 20 minutes, get out of bed, go to a dimly lit chair and read something dull, a physical book, not a screen, or practice a relaxation technique until you feel drowsy. Only then return to bed. This reinforces the connection that bed equals sleep, not a place for anxious wakefulness. This practice, called stimulus control, is a cornerstone of cognitive behavioral therapy. For insomnia, CBT-i, the gold standard non-drug treatment for sleep disorders. It breaks the cycle of anxiety that builds around the bed itself. Now let's address the elephant in the room that often emerges when environment and routine aren't enough. The need to use the bathroom at night. Nocturia is incredibly common after 60 and is a major sleep disruptor. While it can have medical causes like an enlarged prostate or overactive bladder, behavioral tweaks can help. First, strategically manage fluid intake. Ensure you're well hydrated earlier in the day, but taper off liquids in the 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. Second, be mindful of diuretics. Caffeine and alcohol are obvious ones, but some medications and even foods can have an effect. Third, elevate your legs for a period in the late afternoon or early evening. This can help your body process fluid before bedtime. Creating the perfect sleep environment and respecting its purpose gives your body the external conditions it needs to succeed. But we must also look inward at the fuel we provide our bodies, because what you eat and drink, and most importantly when you consume it, plays a dramatic role in how you sleep, which leads us to the crucial conversation about diet, substances, and the timing of both. Call to action, end of paragraph 3. I want you to become a sleep detective for one night. Keep a notepad by your bed. If you wake up, jot down the time and one quick note: bathroom, too hot, mind racing, pain in hip. Don't judge it, just record it. One night of data can reveal your personal biggest disruptor. Share what you discover in the comments. It might be the clue. Someone else needs to solve their own sleep puzzle. You are quite literally what you eat and drink, and this has profound implications for your sleep architecture, especially after 60. The relationship between nutrition and sleep is a two-way street. Poor sleep disrupts hunger hormones, leading to poor food choices, which in turn degrade sleep further. Let's break this cycle, starting with the most famous sleep disruptor, caffeine. Its half-life, the time it takes for your body to eliminate half of it, can be 5 hours or longer. For some, especially as metabolism changes, it can be 8 to 10 hours. That 3 p.m. cup of coffee could still be blocking sleep-inducing adenosine receptors in your brain at 11 p.m. The rule of thumb is to establish a caffeine curfew, ideally by noon, but at the very least 8 hours before bedtime. Next, alcohol, which is perhaps the most deceptive sleep saboteur. While it may induce drowsiness and help you fall asleep faster, it's a sedative, not a sleep aid. As it metabolizes, it causes arousals, fragments the second half of your sleep, and severely suppresses REM, sleep, the stage crucial for memory, learning, and mood regulation. Relying on a nightcap is a recipe for shallow, non-restorative sleep and waking up unrefreshed. Now let's talk about food, timing, and composition. A large, heavy, or spicy meal right before bed forces your digestive system to work overtime, which can cause discomfort, acid reflux, and an elevated core temperature, all enemies of sleep. Aim to finish your last major meal at least 3 hours before bed. However, going to bed very hungry can also be disruptive. If you need a small snack closer to bedtime, choose something that combines a bit of complex carbohydrate with a small amount of protein or healthy fat. Think a small bowl of oatmeal, a slice of turkey on whole grain cracker, a banana with a spoonful of almond butter, or a handful of nuts. These can help stabilize blood sugar and provide the amino acid tryptophan, a precursor to serotonin and melatonin. Certain nutrients are particularly important for sleep as we age. Magnesium, often called a relaxation mineral, plays a role in muscle relaxation and nervous system calm. Its levels can be lower in older adults. Foods like leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and legumes are great sources. Similarly, B vitamins, especially B6, are involved in melatonin production. But here's the critical point. Before rushing to supplements, focus on a whole food. Balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains. The Mediterranean diet pattern, for instance, is consistently linked with better sleep quality. Beyond what you eat, how you eat matters. Mindful eating, paying attention to your food without distraction, can improve digestion and reduce stress, contributing to better sleep. Finally, we must address the complex role of medication. Many common prescriptions for blood pressure, asthma, depression, and even over-the-counter medications like some decongestants can interfere with sleep as a side effect. Never stop or change a prescribed medication on your own, but do have an open conversation with your doctor or pharmacist. A simple question like, could any of my medications be affecting my sleep? And is there an alternative or a different time of day I could take it? Can yield significant improvements. Optimizing your nutritional intake and timing is like providing high-grade fuel for a finely tuned engine. It allows the complex biochemistry of sleep to proceed without hiccups. Yet, even with perfect habits, the mind can remain the most stubborn obstacle, which is why our final and most transformative pillar addresses the software of sleep, managing thoughts, stress, and anxiety directly. Let's do a simple 7-day experiment. For 1 week, observe a strict no caffeine, afternoon, and no alcohol within 3 hours of bed rule. Keep a tiny log, just a 1-word note on your phone each morning. Good, okay, or poor for sleep. See if there's a trend by day 7. I want you to experience the data for yourself. Come back and tell the community if it made a difference for you. The most perfectly dark, cool, quiet bedroom and the most impeccable diet are powerless against a mind that refuses to power down. After 60 life transitions, health concerns, financial worries, or simply the quiet of the night can turn the mind into a cacophony of thoughts. This is where we move from external fixes to internal mastery. The goal is not to empty the mind an impossible task, but to change your relationship with your thoughts at bedtime. The first strategy is what I call the brain dump. Keep a notebook and pen by your bed. If you find yourself ruminating on tomorrow's to-do list or a worry, sit up, turn on a dim light, and write it all down. The act of externalizing the thought onto paper signals to your brain, it is recorded. I can let it go until tomorrow. This is remarkably effective for task-based anxiety. For deeper, more pervasive worry or stress, we need more robust tools. And this is where mindfulness and relaxation techniques come in. These are not mystical practices. They are neurological exercises. One of the most accessible is diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing. Lying in bed, place one hand on your chest and the other on your belly. Breathe in slowly through your nose, feeling your belly rise, while the hand on your chest stays relatively still. Exhale slowly through pursed lips. Aim for a 4 to 7-8 pattern. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 7. Exhale for 8. Just 5 minutes of this activates the parasympathetic nervous system, lowering heart rate and blood pressure. Another powerful technique is a body scan meditation, which is a more formal version of the progressive muscle relaxation mentioned earlier. Starting at your toes, you bring non-judgmental awareness to each part of your body, noticing any sensations without trying to change them, and consciously releasing tension. Apps or free online guides can talk you through this. The point is to train your mind to focus on present, neutral bodily sensations instead of future-oriented, anxiety-producing thoughts. This is the essence of mindfulness, being present without judgment. For chronic insomnia, structured professional help is the gold standard. Cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBT-i, is a short-term evidence-based. Program that addresses the thoughts and behaviors causing sleep problems. A therapist helps you challenge unhelpful beliefs like I must get 8 hours or I'll be ruined, and reinforces techniques like stimulus control and sleep restriction, temporarily limiting time in bed to increase sleep drive and efficiency. It is more effective in the long term than sleep medications. Speaking of which, let's address sleep aids honestly. Prescription sleep medications, particularly the class known as drugs, and even over-the-counter antihistamines like diphenhydramine come with significant risks for older adults. These include next-day drowsiness, increasing fall risk, confusion, memory issues, tolerance, and dependence. They treat the symptom, not the cause, and often degrade sleep architecture. They should only be considered as a very short-term bridge while you implement the behavioral and lifestyle changes we've discussed, and always under strict medical supervision. A far safer pharmacological conversation to have with your doctor is about melatonin supplementation. In older adults, the natural production of melatonin often diminishes. A low dose, 0.5 to 3 milligrams, taken about 30 to 60 minutes before your target bedtime, not when you're already in bed, can help reinforce that circadian signal, especially for circadian rhythm disorders. The key is low dose and consistent timing. Remember, it's a chronobiotic, a timing agent, not a knockout sedative. Finally, be patient and consistent. You cannot repair decades of habit in one night. Pick 1 or 2 strategies from these 5 pillars: light management, daytime activity, wind down routine, sleep sanctuary, diet optimization, or stress management, and practice them diligently for 2 weeks. Track your progress not just by hours slept, but by how you feel during the day. Energy, mood, and clarity are the true metrics of sleep success. The journey to better sleep after 60 is a holistic one, integrating body, mind, and environment. It is an act of self-respect and a profound investment in your overall health, cognitive vitality, and quality of life. You have the power to reclaim your rest, not by fighting your age, but by working intelligently with the wise body you have now. If this comprehensive guide resonated with you, if it gave you a new blueprint to follow, then do me a huge favor. Hit the like button right now. It helps this video reach others who are struggling in silence. Subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell, because next week we're diving deep into the connection between sleep, memory, and preventing cognitive decline, a topic you won't want to miss. But most importantly, start today. Don't try to do everything at once. Pick your first pillar. Is it morning light? A digital sunset? A bedtime snack swap? Tell me your pillar 1 foot in the comments below. Let's support each other on this journey. Your better sleep starts now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.